10 years ago, 10 grand bought you a joke of an electric car. Today it buys you a Jaguar that costs $70,000 new, or a Tesla that still runs on the world's best charging network. Depreciation wrecked these cars' resale value and turned them into the best used car bargains you can buy right now. Here are 8 of them counting down. Number 8. Jaguar I-Pace. Starting with what might be the single biggest depreciation story on this entire list, the Jaguar I-Pace. When this car launched, it wasn't just another EV. It walked away with both World Car of the Year and European Car of the Year in the same season, something no other electric car had managed at the time. Back then, buyers were paying upwards of $70,000 for one, and waiting lists stretched for months. Fast forward to now, and that same car can be picked up for under $25,000. That's not a typo. That's a massive drop in value in well under a decade, and it's a bigger fall than almost anything else on this list. Why has it dropped so hard? Partly image. Jaguar's sales struggled generally during this period, which dragged resale values down across the range. Partly it's also because early adopters moved on to newer tech. But the car itself hasn't gotten worse. It's still genuinely quick off the line, still has a properly luxurious cabin with real leather and a premium finish, and still delivers a usable real-world range for most daily driving. The one thing to budget for is tires and brakes. This is a heavy performance SUV, so consumables wear faster than on a lighter hatchback-based EV. Get a full battery health check before buying, and factor a bit extra into your budget for running costs. For the depreciation alone, though, the I-Pace deserves to be at the top of the test drive list. Number 7. Kia Niro EV. Next up is a car that completely reset expectations for what a normal, everyday EV could look like, the Kia Niro EV. Unlike a lot of early electric cars, the Niro EV doesn't scream, "I'm electric." It just looks like a sensible family crossover, which, for a huge number of buyers, is exactly the point. No wild styling, no gimmicks, just a car that happens to run on a battery instead of gas. It's efficient, it's practical, and the 64 kilowatt-hour version delivers a rock-solid, EPA-rated range of 239 miles. That covers the vast majority of daily commutes with plenty left over, and it's more than capable of a longer highway run without constant charging stops. Reliability has genuinely been a strong point for this car. Kia's legendary 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty gave early buyers real confidence, and a portion of that battery coverage may still be active on younger examples, which is a massive deal on the used market. Trunk space is decent, rear seat room is generous for the car's size, and running costs are low across the board. If this is your first step into EV ownership, the Niro EV is about as safe and sensible a starting point as you'll find for the money. Number 6. Volkswagen e-Golf. At number 6 is a car built for people who don't really want to think about owning an electric car, the Volkswagen e-Golf. It looks like a Golf. It drives like a Golf. There's no dramatic redesign, no futuristic dashboard, no learning curve, just a familiar, well-built hatchback that happens to run on a battery. That familiarity is the entire appeal, and it's why so many first-time EV buyers gravitate toward this one specifically. At around the $10,000 mark, expect a 35.8 kilowatt-hour battery, giving an EPA range of around 125 miles. That's the honest limitation of this car. It's not built for regular cross-country road trips. But for city driving, short commutes, and school runs, it's more than enough, and a lot of owners simply charge overnight and never think about range at all. In exchange for that shorter range, you get everything Volkswagen does well: strong build quality, good sound insulation, a solidly finished cabin, and a car that genuinely feels premium inside despite the modest price tag. If range anxiety isn't a concern for how you actually drive, the e-Golf is one of the most quietly competent cars on this entire list. Number 5. Nissan Leaf. Number 5 is the car that arguably made electric vehicles mainstream in the first place, the Nissan Leaf. Early versions of the Leaf get a bad reputation because of their limited range and older battery chemistry, and honestly, that reputation is fair. Those first-generation cars struggled to cover even 80 miles in cold weather. But the later second-generation, 40 kilowatt-hour models are a completely different story, far easier to live with day to day, and much better suited to modern driving. A well-spec'd version comes loaded with extras like heated seats and a heated steering wheel, both genuinely useful on an EV since heating draws less energy than running the full climate control. EPA range sits right around 150 miles, which comfortably covers most people's daily needs with room to spare. It's also a properly practical family car, decent trunk space, and comfortable rear seats. One unique thing worth checking for US buyers is the charging port. The Leaf uses the older CHAdeMO fast-charging plug. Because US charging networks are rapidly switching over to Tesla's NECS and CCS plugs, road-tripping a Leaf can be a bit tricky nowadays. But if you're using it as a daily commuter charging at home and you get a battery health check showing minimal degradation, a $10,000 to $12,000 Leaf is one of the strongest value plays on the market. Number 4. BMW i3. At number 4, a car that still feels ahead of its time even now, the BMW i3. The lightweight carbon fiber reinforced construction, the unconventional rear-hinged suicide doors, the clever packaging. It all still feels genuinely special years after launch, and it's properly fun to drive thanks to a low center of gravity. Prices start low, but for the sweet spot, you want to push your budget closer to $15,000 to land a 2018 model. On pure electricity, the EPA rated this version for 115 miles of range. If you step up to a 2019 or newer, that bumps up to 153 miles. But the real secret weapon for the US market is the REX, or Range Extender version. This version adds a tiny 2-cylinder gas generator under the trunk floor. It doesn't actually drive the wheels, but if your battery hits zero, it kicks on to maintain your charge and keep you moving until the next gas station. Practicality isn't the i3's strong suit, rear space is tight, and the trunk is small. But if space isn't a deal breaker, the i3 remains one of the most distinctive and enjoyable EVs on the used market. Number 3. Kia Soul EV. Number 3 brings a car that's always marched to its own beat, the first-generation Kia Soul EV. Its boxy shape makes it incredibly easy to park, while its tall, upright design makes the interior feel far roomier than the footprint suggests. It's quirky in a way that few other EVs on this list even attempt to be. Now, a quick warning for US buyers. While Europe and Canada got a later version of this car with a massive battery, the US did not. If you're shopping in the States, you'll be looking at the 2015 to 2019 models. These come with smaller 27 to 30 kilowatt-hour batteries, meaning an EPA range of around 90 to 111 miles. Because of that short range, they've depreciated heavily, often selling for well under $10,000. They were never designed for long-distance highway hauls, so buyers should treat them strictly as short-hop, local commuters. But as a quirky town car or a cheap second vehicle for the family, it is an absolute bargain. Number 2. Hyundai Ioniq Electric. Our runner-up is a car you've ridden in without even realizing it, given how common it's become with rideshare and taxi drivers, the Hyundai Ioniq Electric. Visually, it draws heavy comparison to a certain famous Toyota hybrid, and it's fairly clear Hyundai's designers were paying close attention to what already worked in that segment. But functionally, it's a genuinely strong car, in its own right. If you are shopping for one of these in the US, try to hunt down a 2020 or 2021 model. While the older versions had a tiny battery, the 2020 refresh bumped it up to a 38.3 kilowatt-hour pack, giving you a very usable 170 miles of EPA range. That popularity with professional drivers actually tells you something important. Taxi and rideshare drivers rack up huge mileage and need a car that simply doesn't break down. The Ioniq's reputation in that world speaks to genuine long-term durability. Around $15,000 gets you a clean, low-mileage example that is an absolute efficiency king, regularly beating its own range estimates. Number 1. Tesla Model S. And at number 1, the car that's fallen furthest from grace in terms of price and arguably climbed highest in terms of value, the Tesla Model S. Early Model S values have dropped so dramatically that genuinely good examples now sit under the $20,000 mark for a car that cost the equivalent of a small house when it launched. Everything about it still holds up years later. The design hasn't aged, the interior feels massive thanks to the panoramic glass roof, and the highway comfort is legendary. $20,000 typically buys a 75 or 85 variant. While these had an official range near 250 to 280 miles, when new, you should realistically expect closer to 200 to 220 miles in the real world today due to natural battery degradation over the years. As a massive bonus for US buyers, if you hunt down a pre-2016 Model S, many of them still come with free lifetime supercharging that permanently transfers to the next private owner, meaning your road trips could cost you absolutely $0 in fuel. It's not a car for everyone, and early Teslas absolutely need a specialist inspection before buying to check the drive unit and battery history. But for an EV that still feels genuinely premium underneath the badge, the Model S is the ultimate used bargain. That's 8 electric cars that lost serious money and became serious bargains because of it. From a $70,000 Jaguar for under 25 grand to Tesla still running on the world's best charging network, Depreciation has done used buyers a genuine favor. Whichever one you'd pick, or if there's a bargain EV that deserves a spot here, drop it in the comments. And remember, before buying any used EV, always get a full vehicle history and a battery health check. If this video helped, a like goes a long way, and hit subscribe for the next one. See you next time.